doing? We're here.
Hi.
We're live.
We are. Hello. What's my hair? I don't know my hair. It's doing right there. Okay, so.
Okay.
Or a lack thereof. Okay, so we
are shifting gears.
Yeah.
Have shifted gears.
Fathers. We're talking about fathers. So yeah, we didn't watch very much together this week.
yeah. I don't know what happened this week.
It was kind of a busy week, and then
busier than usual.
You guys know that it's just him next week giving reviews.
It's gonna be some good movies. Good movies.
Define good.
They will all be from the Hallmark Channel of death.
So think Halloween with dads. That's probably what you're gonna get next week. Anyway, so the first movie we watched. Did you watch this one with me? Like Father.
I saw part of it.
Okay.
It looked like an interesting movie because it's got Kelsey Grammer in there, and I like Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah. So it's called Like Father from 2018. It has, like he said, Kelsey Grammer and Kristen Bell. They're the main two characters. So the plot is Kristen Bell was supposed to get married, but she's uber businessy, so her job is kind of the most important thing to her. And
she's totally
her
slaying it.
Fiance dumped her. I'm ignoring him. Her fiance dumped her at the altar because her phone rang, because she had hid it in her bouquet of flowers.
She couldn't help herself, huh?
A little obsessed with work. So he couldn't handle it. Clearly he wasn't the right one for her. I'm going to fire you and kick you off this video. Seriously, there's something wrong with you. Anyway, so she's, of course, devastated. And as soon as he says, "I can't marry you," her dad steps up from the audience, who she hadn't seen in
long time,
decades.
Yeah.
He had left when she was little. So long story short, she and her dad end up getting drunk that night, and they wake up the next morning on a cruise ship.
That's how they got on the cruise? It wasn't even planned? They just ended up on a cruise?
Well, he said she invited him to come with her on her honeymoon cruise because the fiance obviously was out of the picture. And it was already paid for, so why not go? But she doesn't remember any of that. So it was clearly she was drunk and passed out and didn't remember asking, because she said I would never ask you to go on a cruise. I don't even know anything about you. Like, she didn't even call him dad. So it was the whole thing, them interacting throughout this cruise. I'm not going to go through all of the details, but it was cute, and they got to know each other, and they realized that they had missed out on so much with each other. So it was really kind of cute. It was kind of neat to see their lack of chemistry turn into some chemistry.
That's the part that I got to see.
The chemistry
kind of towards at the end, and they run into some conflict and Kristen Bell's character, Rachel, thought that her dad was there just after her money, and he was there for a different reason altogether.
Yeah, and so she was able to kind of come to some closure and forgive him for the past. And so it was a good story overall.
There was a part that kind of killed me because she said, so they bonded, right? And then while they were still in the boat, she told him, after this trip, I'm going to visit you in California for a few days. And then when they're having breakfast together, she receives the phone call. She gets this big deal from work.
She gets promotion from work, which changes her hours and her availability.
And so she tells her dad, "Sorry, I know you understand, but not going to happen." And then that starts to eat her inside when she's at work, that she's missing out on. And, after having bonded after, decades of not living, just of that missing time together, that was killing her inside. And she knew she had, kind of killing the dad too.
Yeah. So, so yeah, they end up making up at the end, and it was a good closing ending to that. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a good original story. I like how a misunderstood dad was able to explain himself and kind of reconcile with his daughter for mistakes that he admits to making in the past.
I'd probably give it a 7.5.
I agree. I'd probably give it a 7.5 to an 8. It was pretty good. All right, so that was Like Father from 2018. The next one is The Pacifier from 2005.
I haven't even heard of this one.
Are you serious? You've never seen this one?
Pacifier.
It's Vin Diesel.
Oh,
he's a Navy SEAL.
I probably caught a glimpse of it.
So he's a Navy SEAL, and this family, the dad was abducted. Do they call it that when it's an adult? He was kidnapped. I think they called it kidnapped, but is it kidnapped when you're not a kid?
The Liam Neeson style. He was taken.
Yeah, so he was taken by some people who wanted information or intel on him. And so the Navy SEALs were sent in to protect the family because they assumed that they would come in to try to find the disc or information that they were looking for within the home. So they needed protection, basically. So they sent in Vin Diesel, as he was the head of the SEALs at the time. So he was the most trusted, most reliable person that they could send in to protect this family. Well, the mother ended up having to go out of town on business. So it was him with all these kids. He doesn't have any kids of his own. So he had no idea what to do with all these kids. So it was 2 teenagers, a girl, kind of an elementary school age girl, and a baby. So it started out with a nanny. The nanny gets kicked out halfway through the process. So it ends up with Vin Diesel taking care of this family of kids. He ends up realizing he doesn't hate kids so much. And he ends up kind of figuring out how to be a disciplinarian in the right way to help this family and these kids. So he ends up doing a really good job with them, despite his lack of knowledge in childcare. So it's just kind of funny to see him go through the different things that you deal with teenagers trying to break out of the house or trying to break their boyfriends in, or
quite the different dynamic for an elite soldier.
Yeah. So yeah, he has to kind of figure it all out one day at a time, and it's kind of fun to watch his antics and kind of how he, as a SEAL, handles discipline with the kids and with their teachers and with everyone that kind of interacts with in their life. So it's pretty funny. One of the teachers was kind of a bully, and so at the end of the movie, he kind of puts him in his place.
Is that the guy that
beats him wrestling? At his own? Yeah, so beats him at his own game. So he's a wrestler, and he would always talk smack about the teenage son. And so Vin Diesel goes in and beats him at his own game, showing him how to protect against.
That plays Ray Barone's brother in Everybody Loves Raymond. Kind of the big guy with the super deep voice.
Brad Garrett.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and Lauren Graham is in here, and there's a lot of big names in this movie. So it's a fun watch. I'd watched it before years and years ago, and I thought it would be fun to watch with the kids, and it's clean. So it was a nice one to watch with the kids. They all thought it was funny. So, what would I rate this? It's kind of a goofy movie, but it's got some good. I would probably give it a 7. It's a good rewatch type movie, so I would watch it again. So that was The Pacifier from 2005. All right. The next one is Daddy Daycare from 2003. You didn't watch this with us this time, but you've seen it before.
I have seen it, and it might have even been in the theaters.
Ooh, so this is Eddie Murphy in Daddy Daycare. Apparently there's a Daddy Daycare 2. I can't attest to how good that one is because I didn't watch that one, but I have seen this one several times. The kids picked it. They wanted to watch it, so I thought it would be fun.
It's an interesting concept. They kind of fell into this idea, right?
Yes.
Just a group of friends that decides to stand up.
Well, it's these 2 guys, and they worked in sales for bless you.
I just lost it. And now I'm super stuffy.
For a cereal company, when they tried to push this veggie cereal.
Oh, that's right.
Clearly, it didn't go over well.
Yeah.
So they got laid off. So they had to figure out how to make some money because they could not be stay-at-home dads and not bring in any money. That just wasn't something that they wanted to do. So they got this crazy idea to start a daddy daycare because they had 2 kids themselves, and that would be a way that they could bring in an income.
They probably said, how hard could it be at some point?
Yeah. Well, and then this is after they visited this prestigious elite daycare place that treats kids like soldiers and just was ridiculously expensive.
So like one of those Montessori schools or whatever you call it.
It was more like a boarding school. It was
really? Okay.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
But so they decided they wanted something that was a little more low key, a little more affordable for the average person. So they decided to start this daycare out of their home.
Now, was one of their kids a kid that was always in a Flash costume?
No, that was one of the kids that they watched at the daycare, not one of their kids.
And they did not recognize him until the
No.
didn't know him in the end, right?
Right, because he took the costume off. He said he didn't want to be Flash anymore.
I remember that detail about the movie.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of cute interactions with these 2 dads, and they're figuring out, wow, this is a lot more work than we expected. These kids are ridiculous. They're wild. They're crazy. They tried to feed them sugar because they thought that's what the kids would want, and then they would settle down. But
settle down after sugar.
They found out that was not the case. So after that, they got healthy snacks for them. They had to. It shows their interaction with the people that give a license for the daycares. So they had to go through certain steps to pass to have a license. The regulator, yeah. He was kind of a squirrely guy, so you kind of see their interaction with him.
That's that bald guy, right?
Yeah, then they have to hire a third person. So they hire this guy that kind of worked for them at the other company, and he was kind of dorky into like Star Trek and all that kind of stuff.
It's the dad from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah. So anyway, one of the kids, they couldn't, the 2 dads could never understand because he was speaking another language and they couldn't figure out what he was saying.
Speak Klingon or something.
Yeah, this third guy came in and he starts talking to him and they said, "Whoa, you understand him? What is he speaking?" And he says, "He's speaking Klingon." Classic Klingon.
So the kid was speaking Klingon.
The kid was speaking Klingon.
And so that's how the other dad figured out. Because
he's not a dad. The third one was not a dad.
Okay.
He was just an employee and he just popped in and could speak to this kid in Klingon. So they decided to hire him because they had too many kids at this point. So they needed a third worker for them to keep their license.
I remember at the mall, the local mall, at the bookstore, we used to have those like Walden Books and B. Dalton. They had a Klingon dictionary.
Oh my word. And they have Klingon on Duolingo. I am not kidding you.
Oh, that's right.
They don't have Tagalog, but they have Klingon.
Because you got to know that.
And a couple other fake languages too.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's kind of a funny watch to see how these dads kind of figure it out.
That's
and they
Eddie
come
Murphy.
out on top at the end. Yeah, it's Eddie Murphy
Murphy's
comedy. So if you know anything about Eddie Murphy and his version of comedy, that's what this is about.
Like Big Mama's House and what's the Dr. Doolittle?
And Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of that sort of comedy. So he's funny and he does it well. So this is kind of right up that line too. It's original. I think it's fun. It's a fun watch. I'd probably give it a 7.
Yeah. I'll go 7.5.
Okay.
I'll go 7.5.
Okay. So that is Daddy Daycare from 2003. Okay. The last one, I honestly didn't finish it. I fell asleep. Did you watch it?
Barely.
It's a Macaulay Culkin movie. Getting Even with Dad from 1994. I plan to finish it, but
he looks a little bit older than he was in Home Alone.
Yes, so this is after. I believe it's after Home Alone.
He's got long hair. It looks really weird. Really weird.
So this is Macaulay Culkin, Ted Danson. They're the main characters. Several other characters in this one, but it's basically about this boy whose mom got remarried and wanted to go on her honeymoon. And so she dropped the boy off at his dad's. Well, the dad is a criminal, so he steals to make money. So they had a heist that they were ready to do, he and his two goonies. And so the boy kind of intercepted the product that they stole, the money and stuff that they stole, and held it ransom from these three guys. They're his dad and the two goonies.
Did his dad do time?
I see. I didn't finish it.
Oh, okay.
So I have to watch the end of it. But from what I saw so far, it's pretty good. We'll go ahead and finish it, and then Christian will have to review the rest of it next time.
It's crazy seeing Ted Danson with long hair. I've only ever seen him.
He's
with
got
short
a low
hair.
ponytail in this movie.
Yeah, really weird. I've only ever seen him have short hair in Cheers.
Yeah. So so far it seems pretty good. So we'll let you know next week how this one pans out, and then you'll have to continue our list and watch the rest.
Some
so choice, the movies that you get next week are probably going to be Getting Even with Dad, and then a whole lot of scary ones.
Some choice movies.
Just be prepared for that, y'all. I will have nothing to do with anything other than Getting Even with Dad next week. So because it'll be all this guy.
We might have a special guest next week.
I might burn the special guest before he comes out. Oh my word. I'm sorry, you guys, if he brings out the special guest. Again, I have no control.
I'm not sure how we're going to do a live with the special guest. We'll see.
It ain't happening. So
see if I can book
he's
him.
Just going to be normal next week.
Unless I can book him. If I can convince him with enough bananas.
I'm going to banana you. Don't give the... I'm sorry. I'm sorry in advance for what may be thrown your way next week. I have no control and no say.
Don't have to apologize.
On the other side of the equator with no heat.
Pray for her heat.
And no internet. We were just told tonight that it's record cold over there where I'm going. So I'm kind of a little bit okay with that because I like it colder.
I mean, she goes out with a t-shirt.
50 degrees at 50 degrees at night in our room might get a little cold after a little while. So
the last time we went, we were in a hostel and it was cold there too. We bundled up, but not 50 degrees cold.
And I don't have anybody to bundle up with this time. So I don't know if the other girls would appreciate that very much. So I'd probably be on my own. So yeah, I might order some hot hands and kind of see if I can throw those under the bed with me. But otherwise I think I should sleep pretty well. So I'm okay. I'll bring sweatshirts and sweatpants and double them if I have to.
10,000 feet and 50 degrees.
I was only going to bring one sweatshirt too. Guess I'll bring two.
I think you could do it.
I might bring that puffy sweatshirt thing that Jelana likes to steal from me because that thing's super warm.
It is very soft and warm.
So I could put that under a sweatshirt.
She did wear it a lot, didn't she?
She did, and ripped a hole in it. And so by the time I got it, it already had a hole in it.
That's a bummer.
So, yeah. Anyway, so I will be in Cusco, Peru next week. So throw me some positive thoughts, prayers if that's your thing, and yeah. So that should be a lot of fun. I'll be there for 10 days. He'll be holding down the fort on his own.
It's gonna be good.
So anyway, good luck to you all next week.
We'll be all right. It's gonna be fine.
Like usual, I'm not really sure what we're gonna be talking about for our Tuesday. So you'll have to pop in on Tuesday and see what movie we talk about. And then Friday faves, and then next week. Good luck. At 9:30 on Sunday night.
Be prepared.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Tell your friends, subscribe, like, click, comment, all the good things.
Smash it. Smash
it.
The like button.
Yeah.
That's how the newbies are slaying nowadays.
Or just click it. Oh, cool. All right. Check you later.
I'm going to hit the end stream button now.
Thanks for the play-by-play.
End stream. End.
Hi.